Hello folks, my name is Julie and welcome to another installment of my video series for Julie Loses. A lot has been going on these past couple weeks and I will get right to it. The most exciting thing that's happened in a really long time is that I participated in a 5K. I participated in you can see it's mirrored, the Kirkland Shamrock Run. This is the long sleeve tee that I received as participation reward in the event, and it is I live in Kirkland, and it's the local St. Patrick's Day festivity event. I don't think anything goes to charity, unfortunately, but it's got local community sponsors, and people dress up and have a good time, and there's lots of dogs that participate, so it's a really fun morning. And I originally found out about it through my trainer, who had suggested a week or two ago, probably 2 weeks ago, that we participate in this together as my first event. Unfortunately, she had gotten the dates wrong and she was working yesterday, so could not come with me. But I convinced my boyfriend to do it with me, or he actually volunteered. I was prepared to kind of do it by myself if I needed to, but gladly he came to my assistance and was there with me throughout, goading me on and helping me through it. I would not have had as easy a time as I did, even though it was challenging. I think he made it a lot easier. When I got overheated, he held my jacket for me, and he helped set the pace. I had gone into it thinking I wanted to do an 18-minute per mile pace. That was my goal. I knew I could probably beat that because I had done a previous 3-mile walk on my own and had got like 17:45 out of the pace, and that was with some jogging. And I thought, well, I'll do a little bit of jogging, but mostly walking, and I'll try to keep that pace up. And he was really a critical help when he was saying, okay, we're a little above 18, so let's, he without knowing, I may not have pushed as hard, but so he was very happy that he went with me. The event was great. I was really nervous leading up to it. I kind of carbo loaded on the Friday before. I had, I think my nutritional macro percentages are usually split up where I aim for 35% protein, 25% fat, and 40% carbs. But when I reflected back on Friday, by the end of the day, I had tracked something like 54% carbs, so I was okay with that. I thought, I'm carbo loading. It's before a race, but whatever. It worked out great. The route itself was pretty challenging. I mean, this was a hilly area full of inclines for the first good half of the race. Not track, but it was basically city streets, and most of them were on an incline until pretty much the end. And so that was pretty challenging for me. Everyone was, I didn't set my own pace at the beginning. I kind of went with the flow of all the other walkers, and I'm a shorty. I'm 5'2", and my legs are just stumpy and short, and I cannot move as fast as most people when walking. And I let that kind of have me going a little too fast towards the beginning, I think. And I even tried jogging on one of the uphills, and I think I may have done a little temporary damage to my right hip. That was the limiting factor in it. I started feeling some hip pain, and so that's what got me to stop jogging, because I think the adrenaline and good endorphins were definitely flowing, and probably could have had me, keep my cardio levels up for longer. But the pain in the side was it made me stop a little bit sooner than I wanted to on some occasions. But the pace, I think I had mentioned before that I wanted to get was 18 minutes per mile. And I crushed it with 17 minutes and 7 seconds per mile. I think I crossed the finish line after about 53 minutes and 5 seconds. My age group of the walkers, I did really well. I think I finished 9th or something on the... I'll include a link to the timing results or a screenshot or something. It was a great feeling to finish. Afterwards, we were really happy, and I wanted to do more. I wasn't kind of finished for the day, and I was definitely fatigued. I was definitely tired, and I definitely waddled around for the majority of the day and even into this morning. But that energy boost that you get, those feel-good hormones, they're pretty powerful. And I know that you can do the same thing on a treadmill at the gym, but it's totally different when you're participating with a group of people. There are some festivities around it. You're with a friend or friends, and it was my first. So I had... I ran across the finish line with a huge smile on my face, and it was so empowering, and I can't wait to do more. There were people taking photos, and all the results were posted on a website, and I think it's Cross the Line Timing or something like that. And there was a woman who finished just right in front of me, and I was a little curious about her because she was like, similar size than me, and she looked around the same age, and I wanted to look at her results to see. We had almost the same exact pace. It turns out we are basically the same age, and it was really interesting to see that there are people of all sizes and all ages that are doing these things, and everybody crushes these things in their own way, and that was really uplifting and has me looking out for more of this kind of thing. And I actually stumbled upon there's a triathlon. All right, everybody cool down. This is not an Ironman triathlon I'm talking about. There's a local triathlon that takes place both in June and then again in September. And it's basically a 400-meter swim in a lake, followed by a 9-mile bike ride, followed by a 1.9-mile run. Now, I don't know about the swimming, 400 meters. I frankly, I've only been swimming maybe twice in the last few years, and my form is not great, and my breathing is not great, and I love swimming, but I just don't do it a whole lot. Bike riding, I know I can do 9 miles. I know I can. And then running 1.9 miles, well, it's something I want to work towards. One of my goals is to be able to run a 5K or jog a 5K or something. Basically, anything where I'm not walking the whole time is what I want to do. And I've made small inroads to that and plan to continue to increase those times in the future, or decrease those times in the future. But, that sounds like, those all sound like very reasonable, apart from the swimming, which I have really no basis in reality for that, or comparison for that. I know that I can bike 9 miles, and I know that running 1.9 miles is something that should be doable. If not by June, then by September, I think, crush this. And they have elite levels, which, no. They also have a Clydesdale and Athena level, which is very interesting to me. So Clydesdale and Athena are they're terms, that are used to refer to the overweight community involved in fitness. For example, I'm a member of a bike forum that has a sub-forum called Clydesdales and Athenas, and they are for people who are riders who are over 200 pounds. And I just think I don't know how they came up with the term Clydesdale for overweight male athletes, but the Athena one, it's a much nicer term for it, and there are issues that pertain to the larger athlete. So I think it's okay that they're called out. I just think that the names are on the male side are funny, but if they're okay with it, then that's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm certainly okay with the Athena thing. It's not the Miss Piggies or something like that, which I think would be, oh my god, that's really horrible. So let's start again. So the 5K was awesome. For the whole rest of the day, my boyfriend and I were talking about it, and I was thinking about it, and it's just, it has brought a lot of excitement to my life right now. So there's other stuff going on. This previous week I posted that I finally overcame that issue I had with my weekly Tuesday weigh-ins where, well, I don't know if overcame was the proper word. It was circumstance drove me to break this habit that I have been having, which is not eating before my weigh-ins. Even though my weigh-ins happen like midday, I would forego eating breakfast before those weigh-ins so that I could weigh in on an empty stomach. And I would also forego ingesting any water of any good amount. I might take sips, but I wanted to get those first thing in the morning numbers. And I wanted to ride my bike. And that was the overwhelming drive there. And now I set that standard on the scale. I weighed in at 217, which was about 0.4 pounds higher than the previous week's weigh-in, which technically constitutes a gain, but it's reset the standard now, and I can go and eat like I normally do on a day-to-day basis and weigh in and feel like it's a good comparison and not feel like I'm jacking with the numbers too much. The other thing I've been doing is I have been weighing myself at home more often, and it's not causing any problems for me right now in my head because I'm getting some positive results. And when I was sick, I was weighing myself, and then when I was getting better and going back to the gym, I was still weighing myself. So I was seeing where things would go up a little bit or not move down a little bit. So it's been just interesting to be able to track where I am on a day-to-day basis. Now, I don't log those daily numbers. I've committed to only log on, my Tuesday weigh-ins. Either if I'm not weighing in at the Pro Club, then I'm weighing it at home and marking it on my scale report. But that's the only, those are the only numbers that I'm really going to kind of log in terms of watching my overall progress. I am happy to report, though, that while my weigh-in at the Pro Club on Tuesday was 217, my home weigh-in, I think, was about 216.2 or somewhere around 216 that morning. And then my weigh-in this morning was 214.2. So I'm going in the right direction, and I'm pretty happy about that. There's a lot of other stuff going on. One of the big things for me is, you may or may not know this, but I decided to stop working at my position as a project manager last year in April. So April of 2013, I quit my job because my health and anxiety levels when my anxiety levels were up, my health was way down, and I just felt like if I continued working in the position I was working at, I would only continue to get worse and worse, and I really needed to work on my head issues, and that meant that I needed to take a breather from the work, and I decided to make it permanent. So I've spent a lot of, those first few months were spent kind of digging out of depression and going to see seeking counseling, seeking the help of a psychiatric nurse practitioner. I was on medication. I was really working to kind of get myself to where I could get out of the house again, because I have some social anxiety, but the depression really makes me stick to the house and not want to leave the house. So once I get out of my own way, once I was able to feel better, my mind naturally starts thinking about how to incorporate a more healthy lifestyle. So I think the depression, I have chronic depression, and it comes up every few years, and I think that my lifestyle, it's kind of a circular relationship. I think that I have, there's a lot of people in my family who deal with depression and other mental illness, and so I have some, either genetic or just, learned responses to things that cause me to be naturally inclined to depression. I think also my lifestyle, the way I engage with my health and food and exercise and all that also is a great contributor to my periods of depression. I think that my sedentary lifestyle certainly didn't help. The kind of junk food living that I was doing did not help, and my hope is that these positive lifestyle changes I'm making, these inroads into healthy living, are going to help me keep this depression at bay. So with all that said, now that I'm doing what I would say is really well, and nearly a year has elapsed since I've quit working, I'm starting to spend more time thinking about what I want to do with my life. Now, my position as a project manager, doing project coordination, my career trajectory has been kind of weird, and not led me to doing the kinds of things I want to do. And the thing is, I haven't really been able to figure out what it is that I want to do. And I've been spending a lot of time thinking about that lately. In the last, I would say, 2 months or so, I've just been trying to devote a little more mind space to what do I like? What am I passionate about? What interests me? What am I good at? Asking all these questions, and a lot of it is a big question mark, but one of the things that dawned on me is that I'm really passionate about this lifestyle change that I'm making. The support that I've had from the people in the 2020 Lifestyles program has been critical, and I find myself modeling their behavior in how I talk to other people, either interacting with other bloggers, people on Twitter, or people I meet, friends that I have who are having similar experiences, or people who have questions about nutrition, and if we're talking about it, I feel very comfortable talking about it, and I feel very passionate about learning more about it, because here's the thing. In all my life, up to now, weight loss has always been sort of a gimmicky, it's just been gimmicky. It's always been, go to see this doctor to get these shots, or take these pills, or join Weight Watchers, or join Jenny Craig, or join this short-term program where, you know, we're going to give you shots every morning and give you a bunch of vitamins, or try this really, you know, we're going to give you this really restrictive low-carb diet. And I know that those things don't work long-term. I think that some people, you know, cling to this kind of stuff, or they really, you know, they succeed in the short term at these sort of weight loss. These, not all of them are gimmicks, but some of them are gimmicks, and they don't latch on to the lifestyle change aspect of it. And it's a temporary measure that they hope remains permanent. But the science behind this shows us that without consistent and permanent lifestyle change, as an overweight person, you cannot lose weight and keep it off. It will come back if you don't make constant effort to do that. And it takes years and years and years to get your body to a point where it's comfortable eating what many would quantify as a normal amount of food. And you may never be able to eat, you will never be able to eat the kinds of junk food you were eating before, in the quantities you were eating before, and be able to maintain a healthier weight. And I see that happening, and I see it now. I mean, I totally bought into this stuff before and hoped, but this seems to be that critical component, is these, you know, behavior changes, long-term behavior changes, not short-term. It's not, God, I'm on this program for 32 weeks, and it's when I can get off of it, everything's going to be better, and I'm going to be able to go back to the way things were. Oh my God, no, I cannot do that. I have to make these changes permanent. So I'm very passionate about that. I'm very passionate about sharing the idea that you can't, sharing the information with people, that many people think that they can diet for a while, get down to a lower weight, and then everything's good. But they're not doing themselves any favors with that. And it just leads to the kind of yo-yo dieting lifestyle that makes people bigger and bigger. And I can say that because I lived it for, 20 so years or longer. Gosh, 25, 30 years of being overweight and slowly getting bigger and bigger until I got to my highest at somewhere around 275. You can't live like that, because you're when it's something that impedes your lifestyle. I have no problem if you're a big person and you're able to participate in all the activities and have a fun life and feel empowered and have, relatively good health. I think that's fine. I think there's no issue with that. And I commend people, healthy large people who feel empowered and are able to love their life that way. I think that's great. That sort of healthy at any size kind of thing. I don't have issues with that on a principle level. I have issues with the constant that some of us have, that constant hearkening for, if I could be smaller, if I could be more fit, if I could fit into the kind of clothes that I want to wear that I can't find now, if I can feel like getting up out of bed every morning isn't just the most painful thing, if I can go to Disneyland and walk around and not feel like I'm going to die midday, those kinds of things are impediments to the pursuit of happiness, which all of us deserve. And so I don't want that for my life. And I know there are people who are going through that, and I want to be able to share this powerful information that I've received and continue to receive and continue to learn. And I've had a lot of experience with counseling and therapy. I've had good experiences, I've had bad experiences. But in my life, there has been several instances where I've thought about pursuing education or degree in psychological studies. And there have been certain things that have made me think that that wouldn't be good for me or that wouldn't be possible. And it's starting to sound possible. There's finally something that appears to be calling. They say, you found your calling. Well, there was a brief time when I was right out of college, when I went to audio school and was doing a lot with that. Because when I was in, junior high school, I had a study closet, and I had plastered it with photo advertisements from magazines of like mixing, music studios and mixing bays and big consoles with lots of knobs, and there's something that excites me about that, and I was very ambitious about that in my early 20s, but it just didn't lock on, and now I think about going back to that and building on my prehistoric studies. In my area, it's not a big thing. I moved from living in Los Angeles to now living in the Seattle area, where you think, music production is a big deal. I was involved in audio post-production for television and feature films, and there's just not a whole lot of that up here, and I'm very risk-averse. But I like doing it for myself. I like it as a hobby at this point. And I'm trying to really distinguish, what's a dream job versus what's a hobby that I really like versus what's something I just find interesting that I want to study more of, and then what can I turn into a meaningful career? And it got me to thinking, if I could somehow turn this positive stuff that I'm getting through both this program, the community online, the other, healthy living bloggers or articles that I read, books and speakers, like Kelly McGonigal's, the Willpower Instinct just seems really revolutionary and full of really interesting research, and I'm just really fascinated by that kind of thing, and I really feel like the solid building blocks for lifelong change are available, and I want to get it out to people. And if that's on a one-to-one, basis, if it's helping someone, as somebody with a history of mental illness, I have at least some understanding of the obstacles and the mental blocks that we have that make things like getting healthy and having a good balanced lifestyle, working through those blocks, working on reframing. If that's something that I need to go to school for 5-6 years to study and become a professional, and to be able to, with some solid footing, be able to give people advice and help them manage and work through these issues, that's something that seems very provocative to me right now, and very compelling. And I'm following some leads on this, and but that is something that I'm also very excited about right now. So there's the 5K, and then there's this epiphany that I feel like I'm in the midst of, and I don't know what it's going to turn into. Schooling is very, very expensive when you want to study to be a mental health counselor or a clinical social worker or something involved in that. We're talking, $50,000 and financial aid maybe. It seems something that's so overwhelming, but I'm really passionate about it, and so I'm going to take I'm going to take a measured approach to it and do some investigating and follow up on that, and who knows. I mean, and what's, I think, most compelling is that they say that you learn best by teaching. So, and I have had that experience where I learn and absorb something better once I have to explain it to somebody else. And wouldn't it be great, wouldn't it be helpful in my own daily struggles with healthy living to have that consistent reflection and thought process going on where I have to know this stuff to be able to share it with somebody else. And that's going to reflect back into me and help me through my struggles. So not only do I get to explore that passion for this subject matter, but I also get to help myself build on these. So I'm trying to quash any negative thoughts I have about it, because there are some like downsides apart from even the monetary financial aspect of funding said education. But I'm trying not to give them too much mind space, because I think I have issues with you know, telling myself no and finding reasons to say no to things when I need to just build on reasons to say yes. So that's what I'm going to do. So yes, that is probably it. That's probably more than enough. It's like a half hour of talking I've done, but it has been a little while since I've done a video post, and I had a lot to share. Stay tuned on the blog. I am going to do some write-ups on the 5K with maybe some photos and some of the results posted, and I will keep sharing some of the things I'm thinking about in terms of turning this whole healthy living push that I'm doing for myself, turning it into a career that can help me and can help maybe some others. And so that'll be a new direction as well. We'll see how far I get with that. I hope I get to whatever that finish line is. Until next time, take care. Have a good day.